Away from that, thank you very much for joining us. Well, as I mentioned and advertised, it's now time to do some Kingdom Finance series. There are some messages also before we get into that on X. Wilbert says the frequent outbreaks of violence in our senior high schools are just alarming. You can also tweet at us or X at us. I don't know how it's called these days. Mark the Sun is also on X or Twitter. Is it that Ghana is changing or am I now waking up? As much as Wake Up Africa is waking you up, there's a bit of, if you like, change. And so upward adjustments of conflict and violence and all of that. But of course, we're also throwing more light on them. And there are conversations we need to have around that. But away from that, let's talk about you, your family, your home. How are you? How do you put together your finances? It's very, very important. And we want to talk about emergency account. Emergency accounts, obviously is very important. But you and I are working, we are not even able to save. We have to go and open emergency account. How must we do that? Mr. Boandoh-Korkor, Semanu Boandoh-Korkor, I hope I got the name right, is with us, is the Kingdom Evangelist, Kingdom Finance Evangelist. He speaks largely about these things everywhere in your church, your workplace, and all of that. So you need to touch base with him. Thank you very much, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Korkor. You're looking great.
Absolutely. Thank you. Always in your white. And there's something about it, I know. We have to go there.
Yeah.
We will have to come there. Absolutely. So emergency account. Why do we need an emergency account? I can understand the word emergency.
Yeah.
But bro, why? It's difficult to. Let's talk about it.
It's a very sensitive subject.
Yeah.
And I'm going to speak with a lot of trepidation and carefulness.
Right.
Proverbs chapter 27, verse 24, the Bible says that riches are not forever.
Riches are not forever.
In Matthew chapter 7, verse 24 to 28, Jesus talks about building on the solid rock. That rock is Jesus. But for the purpose of our show this morning, I want to compare that rock to having an emergency account.
Okay.
So that when the rains descended and the floods came, your house will not break.
Jeez.
Your house being your life. On the national level, there is what we call the gross international reserves, which is a country's foreign asset, including cash, gold, and other things. Globally, we all know that most countries their reserve is in the US dollar because it's a stronger currency. Some also do gold. Yes,
UK is largely
also
gold, even though they don't mind.
Exactly. So the whole thing is that life itself is unpredictable.
Indeed.
You can be diagnosed with a disease that may take for the next 30 years or so of your life. Where do you get money to buy medicines and to be going to the hospital? You may be depending on your husband or your wife as a source of financial emergency. If the marriage fails, how do you sustain your life when you need money? Because you're no longer married to this person. You can be there as a young man, they will call you that your mother has been hospitalized. And you have to go to the hospital there and pay money for her to be taken care of. If you don't have any money lying anywhere, what are you going to do? Your children will have to pay their school fees. Anything could happen to your business that you are running. Where are you going to get money to pay the school fees? If the business that has been doing so well, all of a sudden, a customer pulls out. These are just a few of the instances that makes the need to put money aside against what we call the rainy day or difficult situations that are unpredictable.
I see. So we'll get into that. Of course, at some point, we'll open the phone line so that for those of you who want to ask practical questions, you can ask. What forms the accounts, these emergency accounts? Is it going to the bank or doing susu, just like I see people do a lot of susu towards a rainy day or a dry season, or what forms it? Okay,
so the emergency account is basically an account that you operate to cater for emergencies, as I explained earlier. Now, this could be in many forms depending on your earning potential.
Okay.
And then how you run your life.
Okay.
By the way some people manage their finances, the emergency account could even be on their phone. It could be a special mobile money account.
That's not dangerous?
Yes. No.
If you are disciplined.
If you are disciplined. If you want to do, you can do it. Some could also operate a bank account. Some could also have cash at home by the nature of the kind of emergencies that they have. So depending on your situation, Some people may even have it as a kind of a investment account that you can have access to every 3 months or every 6 months. So it depends on your lifestyle. If you're a startup and you're running a business, for instance, your emergency account could either be maybe something you used to buy a treasury bill or probably a special bank account that you will not touch unless things are very difficult at that month you can't pay salaries. So you can go on to that account, take the money, pay the salaries. The following month, you have to replace it back because that's supposed to cushion you in terms of emergencies. Yeah, so it could take various forms depending on the financial lifestyle of the person. It can be a cash at home, it can be money at the bank, it can be an investment, depending on your lifestyle.
People who say it's generally even very difficult to save, generally difficult to invest, or even practically you are living from hand to mouth. Yeah. Does it still go back to the issue of you have to find a way of having these accounts?
Korkor, you have to, because imagine the embarrassment you go through if you have to fall on family members, your pastor, sometimes your girlfriend or your wife or whatever for financial support. Imagine the number of stories people will tell you when you need 2,000 cedis to sort up an emergency. You don't want to go through that stress, that strain, that embarrassment. That alone should be a motivating factor for you to make the effort to save. Imagine the disrespect that somebody may show you simply because you can't sort out yourself with 1,500 cedis. I think that is enough a motivation to sacrifice all you can to be able to have that private account to cater for in times of emergency. You may say you are not earning enough, but once a while people dash you money. Once a while money goes through your hands. No one, I mean, you don't need $1 million to become financially free or financially stress-free. The Bible says wisdom is a principal thing. You can put in measures in place. If you are earning 2,000 Ghana cedis, at least your emergency account should be at least 500 Ghana cedis. You know, so irrespective of how much you earn and what your expenses are, there should always be money that you can fall on when, you know, the unexpected happen, irrespective of how much you own. It's a matter of discipline and commitment, knowing that life is unpredictable.
I see. Is that where insurance is coming? Insurance is very difficult to access.
Insurance is a systemized way of cushioning us against the unexpected. Okay. Which is supposedly kind of a long term. Okay. So you do have the life one that covers you as a person. Then you have the one for property, because you have a house. Anything could happen to it. Yeah. It could get burned down, or anything can happen to the building. So you have property insurance. You insure your business, because you have a product that you sell. You have them in the warehouse. Look at what happened to the folks at Kantamanto. Okay. Anything can. So you insure those things. But the insurance is different from an emergency account. An emergency account is a cash reserve that you can fall on when the disaster strikes, you know, so that you can respond immediately. Okay. You see, because when disaster strikes, there are various ways in which people should respond. Some may take a longer time. Some respond on the spot. Some may have to consult and gather resources in order to respond. Your response rate depends on your reserve. People can be laid off in a company. In 6 months' time, some will look more miserable than others because some are prepared in advance that this work I'm doing, the day they will sack me, or the day they will downsize, or the day the company will fold up. Like it happens with Ghana, USAID, USAID. They say, we are withdrawing. The money we'll be using to support your budget, we cannot give it to you again. Now you had the president taxing the finance minister that we got to fill this pothole.
Look for the money.
Look for the money. You know, so it's a very serious thing. Yes. I will even say if you have to fast weekly to be able to save that money, you should do it. Yeah. Yes.
Indeed, it helps your spirituality as well. Then it also helps you because sadly the embarrassment, and sometimes you are seeing your loved ones real under very difficult conditions, and it's so difficult to see them. Maybe sometimes even their lives fly away when you remain helpless. Let's open the phone lines now. You want very practical answers to some of these things. You can call in. Mr. Boandoh-Korkor is here. He will help you to get in there. How do we create these accounts? Is he walking to a bank, or there are some very specialized accounts elsewhere? And as I mentioned, Isusu a good thing. I don't know if people take it running away with susu money, but I've not heard. Have you heard of that? And is it part of some of those ones?
The susu is a test case for a culture of savings.
Okay.
Yes. If you can't do the susu, you have a problem with putting money aside. If you have a problem with putting money aside, you always be financially handicapped, irrespective of how much you earn. So you start with the susu because you should start saving in your house. If you can't save money in your house, you can't save at the bank. So you start from the house. After you've been able to do the susu, then you now go to the bank. Of course, these days, you can even do the savings via just some short code on your phone with an investment bank or with a bank. Okay. So you move the money from your mobile money to that bank account. So it's easy to do it. But the traditional way of saving it in the susu box is a point to begin.
Oh, I'm even talking about susu with people.
Yes. As in the concept of microfinance.
Absolutely.
And yes, that could be.
Well, not even the microfinance level, but amongst friends, so cooperatives, if you like, and friends of workplaces. So we're working here, quite a number of people. Say, okay, bring 500 to all of us. So this person will be your turn next month and all of that. That's
been an age-old practice, and it's a very nice way of also learning to save. Because for some people, until that grouping is done, where they'll have to save and every month they take their portion and continue contributing, it will be difficult for them to save. So if you are like that, team up, either at the workplace or at church or any place, just make sure that it's credible enough so that you can have that habit of also learning to put something aside every month.
Would you also want to probably advise workplaces to get into that? Because you see, like it or yes, it's very difficult for people to do that. And so if at a meeting we say, look, by way of welfare, and we understand that you are earning this little, let's all agree at the end of the day, we'll keep your 100 cedis every month so that at some point when you need it, you are giving. Is that something you feel that?
Yes.
Or that's be trampling on people's rights?
Oh, not really. I mean, in most corporations, these things are discussed. They have been systemized with constitutions and things.
Right.
Some have legal backings because they are staff welfare and things. So it's a very good practical platform that I believe that people can join. If there's something like that at your workplace, join. Sometimes people, look down on some of those things because.
No, I'm even talking about the workplace insisting or instituting it that these things are needed. And you need it. And so because of the people, we see people coming in for salary advance all the time. It means you need an emergency account.
Yes, the company might have instituted it because of experience and what they have seen about staff and their money issues and all that. So it's good, but of course, it's not compulsory if you think that you wouldn't need it. But it's a good way to be part of.
Have you had to talk to people about it? And apart from the fact that they are not financially sound and they do not have enough coming in even to save, to invest, to create an account, apart from those excuses, what have been some of the excuses they've given beyond some of them?
So most people would tell you that number one, they don't earn enough.
Okay, cool.
So forget about putting something aside. That's the first excuse. But like I said, no matter how much you earn, you can always work around it. Somebody who earns 5,000 cedis, the person's lifestyle is different from somebody who earns 1,500. They are all living comfortably because they are operating within their levels. You must know your level and operate at it. So the first one is, I said, I don't earn enough. The second one is that people say, I have so many dependents, family members, my father, my mother, I have to pay school fees for some of my siblings and things. And I always say that, but when you die today, people will continue their schooling. Today, when you are not there, people will not kill themselves because you are not there. So to say I'm looking after other people, I'm supporting other people, so I'm going to kill myself, I don't think that's the right thing to do. Support people, but I will even advise that you should have an account for generosity. Within the month, I can assist people up to 2,000. I can't go beyond that. If I go beyond that, I'll break my account. Remember, you must be alive before you can save others. That's a rule. So you need to have your emergency account whilst you help people in your own little way. So having family members and people depending on you and all that is not an excuse not to have the emergency account.
Let's talk about, yesterday we were talking about gig economy. But the phone lines are opened, and so for those of you who want to call, the numbers are on the screen. Please make sure that you pick them Callers, let's know what you think about the topic again. If you are facing any challenges at all, or you need specialized advice on what to do, please call us. Mr. Boandoh-Korkor is here. Will help you to do that. We're talking about gig economy yesterday. The idea is that there might be other works you could do maybe after work, remotely and all of that. I just came to mind whether or not that could even form your emergency account where works from these other ones, apart from your main works, you could want to pick up other works so that forms part of that.
Exactly.
But is this something you teach people as well to take other jobs, and what's their response like?
Yes, I do. You know, you can't talk about money without talking about income. Emergency account, where are you going to get the money? You have to work. Yes, so for those who may even have the excuse that my money is not enough, my salary is not enough, look for extra work. Sell something online. Publish a music, publish a book. Take up a teaching assignment, either in the evening or later in the day or weekends. Do something extra so you can have extra money to be able to put it in your emergency account. So in fact, in the process of creating an emergency account, one of the steps is to look for extra source of income. Yeah, because that helps you to be able to, let's be honest, if you have more, it's easier to save.
Yes.
All things being equal.
Yes, all things.
All things being equal.
Especially when you don't have a lot of responsibility that eats it up.
Exactly.
It means you don't have more indeed.
Yeah. So that aspect of looking for something extra to do is important. And I must say that for many of us, we are wasting our time. Yes.
Is there a culture? Because why are we quick to go out there to work 3 shifts?
Yes.
Yet we cannot do it here. Is it because the jobs are not here, or the culture here does not stimulate?
The jobs are here. Probably it could be the pay that may be deterring people, or probably the conditions of service. So for instance...
Hold that thought there. Okay. Don't forget that. Ado is calling us from Dawenya. Ado, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Ado, you're on air.
So maybe this is just a form of voicing a little bit of frustration, but at the same time, just asking what can be done for me. So I thought I had some small investment savings with an investment bank. Then DStv came in and then wiped away everything. I have no backup now. I am indisciplined, or I call myself a spendthrift. So if I put money down, in a space of 24 hours in the house, I'll use it. What are some of them? What can I do? What alternative can I do? Because I've tried all my best and it seems not working. I have an investment. I opened an investment account in the bank, and DDEP equally took that away. So what are some of the mitigating factors for those of us who are trying our best and it's not working? And even for ourselves who seem to be indisciplined.
I see.
I don't know if it makes sense.
Absolutely. How old are you, if you can share with us? How old are you?
I'm approaching 50.
Oh, you're approaching. Okay, great. That's fine. I share your sentiments here. Thank you very much. DDEP. Again, one of the safest places to want to invest in all of that turned to be the riskiest, I mean, in the last 4 years, if you like. What do you have advice?
Yes, that's unfortunate. But let me state also that the issue of the DDP was a recent phenomenon.
Okay.
It's not something that has always been there.
Right.
I mean, government has always been a safe place to place your funds.
Right. Now we need to vary it.
Yes,
but watch it now.
There is free, branding is now a bit in question.
Right.
So that's the first thing I want to say. Having said that, I want to say that in planning for emergencies, you need to have proper diversification.
Okay.
Do you get it? Proper diversification. Cash investment, cash savings, they are very good for the short term. In the long term, you need assets that generate recurrent interest.
Okay.
So for example, you've been able to work for some years, you buy a land. Number 2, you could also buy a land and you build. These are not things that can easily be collapsed.
Yeah.
A business can always collapse.
Yes.
You can lose your business. But if you have assets, let's say you build and you are renting and you are taking rent every year. That is something that can cushion or help you when your main investment go down the drain.
So I'll come back to that particular one, but Joyce is on the line. Joyce, can you hear us?
Yes, please.
Joyce, you're on air. Talk to us.
Okay, good morning.
Morning.
Okay, I must say this is a very important topic. I don't know whether you will repeat it, because most of us are out already at work.
Yes.
What I'm saying is that in case you want to develop yourself by going to school, I mean by improving your education, my brother also called that as a kind of system, because sometimes maybe what you are earning now is so low, and if you want to put it aside, it's good. But if in case what you can put aside, you want to use it to develop yourself by going for further studies, will that also be a good thing?
That's a very good question. Know. That's a very, very good question. So would we finish dealing with the Mr. Ado's?
Yes. Mr. Ado's case is a case of diversification being done.
Okay.
Yes, because the issue of the emergency account is that life is unpredictable. But when the worst happens, you should be able to quickly, rebound.
Okay. So you are talking about resilience. So he's got to rebound. But the situation is that he is unable to save because now he's got to now rebuild.
Yes. And it will take time. We have to be honest with that.
Okay.
We have to be honest with that. So the little that is coming in now his priority should be looking for more income stream.
Yeah.
To be able to rebound. The rebound will take time.
Yeah.
So you have to be patient about it.
Yeah.
Because you've taken about 20 years to build something, all of a sudden it's all gone. So it will take time to be able to rebuild.
Yeah.
So that patience and a little discipline with faith in God, also believing that God will guide and order your steps is important to recover.
I pray for strength, Mr. Ado. That's why I said, I asked of the age approaching. For some of us, we can run 3 jobs now.
Yes.
I'm ready to do 3 jobs.
Yes.
Because, Charlie, by the time I'm 30, 50, So the next one,
investing in herself.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's we need to be able to get these things properly streamlined. We are talking about an emergency account.
Okay.
That's supposed to cater for you in terms of short-term financial shocks.
Right.
Then there should be another account that is for special programs.
Right.
I am saving money for my master's program at the University of Ghana Business School for the next 2 years. That's a special account. I am doing this because I want to travel to the UK to go and do my master's in law.
Yeah.
There's a special account for that. Okay. So investing in yourself is also a way of repositioning yourself for more income. But you must be able to streamline the things well so that the cash that you have put aside to help you when there are immediate shocks should not be used to pay for school fees.
Okay.
Because you can be in the school and something can happen to you. You still need money to be able to address it. So what she wants to do is excellent, but there should be a separate account for that. What many of us struggle with is how to properly streamline these things. Even with business people, to be honest, sometimes we do that. Everything is put together.
Yeah.
You are running a business. The monies you have to use to pay salaries, they are in the same account. Your own money, you also spend from the same account. So at the end of the day, when there's a little problem about the business, salaries cannot be paid. That's to delay for 6 months, 3 months. Because everything is over there. You take money from there to buy food. You take money from there to run your home. You take money from there to buy stock.
So the key thing
separation is important.
Diversification.
Yes.
You've got to diversify.
Yes.
Let's return to the conversation. Of course, you also can call. Let's know what you think again from the point of how to create an emergency account or the related issues indeed. And so the numbers are on the screen. The other one also has to do with what we're talking about, the culture here of doing more jobs. Is it that the jobs are not available, or just as some politicians have told us and some Ghanaians have agreed, Ghanaian youth are lazy? Or people are lazy. Some countries have also said we are lazy. When you compare us to Nigerians and some other places where it's upbeat, they say we are lazy.
Yeah. Human beings are naturally lazy.
Okay.
And they need some motivation to be able to stretch and do more.
Poverty is not enough motivation?
No, poverty is not enough. In fact, most of the laziest people you find in life are the poorest.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You can find out and let me know on the next show if I'm wrong. Most of the laziest people in life are the poorest. Because poverty can make you comfortable at its own level. Unless you get an external force to push you, to scream on you, to shout on you, say, you can't be sleeping at this time of the day.
Yeah.
It is daytime, people are working. How can you be on your bed? Or you cannot even be in church praying at this time. Because even God works by orders. You can't use all the time to be praying. You have to work with your hands. So naturally, we are all lazy. But laziness is more intense in societies where there is bad culture.
On that bad culture, no, let's pick this call. Erica is calling us from Nungwa. Erica, can you hear us? Erica.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah. Please, I'm running a open account with the bank. And
Erica, can you hear me?
yes.
Hello, Erica.
Yes.
Yes.
I said I run a business.
Okay.
And I've spoken to some banks that I do investments with, that if they can help me, but they tell you is continuous saving will help you. And then there's no need for me to be saving with the bank. Because if I need money to push into my business and they are not helping me, why should I? And so I want my boss to help me. Now, which of the banks can I save that within 3 months they can come to help me?
Help you in loan, like accessing loans, right?
Yes, because the work I do, I do money trading. So the demand is high.
Do you have some questions to ask him, or he should come to you? Do you have some questions to ask him now?
No, he should just go ahead. I'll finish.
My question is, which of the banks can
All right.
Can I contact them within 3 months? Because I said 1 year and then no help. So to me, then there's no need for me going to the bank because they've been calling me, but I take my money, they don't help me.
Okay. I see. It's clear. All right. Okay. Sure. Thank you very much, Erica, for calling. You also can call. Any advice?
Yes. So what will help is what they call an overdraft.
Overdraft?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What does that mean?
These days, most of the banks will like you to do a cash deposit, and then they give you the overdraft. So when you go for it, you replace it back, you go for it, you replace it back. So it can be an overdraft for 1 year, or overdraft for 6 months or whatever. That's better for a term loan with the kind of business that she does.
Okay.
She can talk to any of the banks, they will help her.
So she should go specifically and say overdraft. I want an overdraft.
Yes, by the kind of business she does. She doesn't need a long-term loan. Yes, and that will help her. Because with the overdraft, one of the things they look out for now is a cash deposit. So I want 100,000. The bank says, come and put 100,000 down. We'll give you our 100,000. Trade with it for 6 months. If you're okay, we'll come back for your money.
What does that mean? If I had 100,000, why am I coming?
Don't worry, the banks will explain that to you. But you see, the 100,000 cash is like a collateral.
But if I had that, why am I coming to you to take another one? Or I want 200,000. Let me put 100,000 down. Is that how it works?
No. You see, the idea is this.
Okay.
You have 100,000.
Okay.
That is fine. But the way you manage the 100,000, if it's yours, it's not the same thing as if you are aware that the money belongs to the bank. The bank is helping you to be able to manage that money. Remember that 100,000 cedis, and they probably will allow you up to about 90,000 or 80,000.
Okay.
You get it. So when you take, let me even say 50,000 out of that 100,000, you are able to turn it around quickly, get your returns, put a portion back, take some again, and then you continue running the business. In the past, what would have happened is that you are giving that money as a loan. So you go and run it over a period of time, then you come and pay back.
Yes.
But the banks have realized that most people default.
Okay.
So this measure is to help you manage your 100,000 cedis. So you don't default the bank, and then you also manage your money well. When you give it a try, what is going to happen is that you realize that it's going to help your working capital improve, in terms of the management, and you'll also be able to make more profit.
Okay. Are we paying interest on it? Of course, there's bank charges.
Of course, there are interest that they pay. Yeah. So that one, when you speak to the bankers, the offers are different from bank to bank.
Oh, they pay you interest or you?
Oh, you pay interest for using the money.
Okay. Is that sound? Okay. As much as I get the security.
When you talk to the banks,
but if for instance, I'm able to save for a year.
Yes.
And I've saved with you.
Yes.
I've been consistent.
Yes.
What's the risk again if you are running a financial institution?
So, Korkor, things have changed over the years.
Sure,
I'm sure you've been in this country, you won't be complaining about non-performing loans.
Yes.
To the extent that sometimes the BOG has to help the banks get some of them off the shelves because it's just unbearable.
Right.
Do you get it? You see, the OD concept I'm explaining to you doesn't make sense. But you've forgotten that within 6 months' time, if you improve it, you can go back to the bank, top up your 100,000, and it becomes 150. And the bank gives you 150. So the bank has helped you to just manage your 100,000 to 150,000. If you do that over time, it can get to a point where you can have access to 500,000 cedis OD. If that money were your own, it will not have been managed well. So these are changes. Like I said, there are different offers with the banks.
So clearly, there are no banks that you can save with, and in 3 months they go.
There are banks also like that. That's what I'm saying. It depends on the kind of business you're running. Yeah. For some, the long-term loans are better. For others, to overdraft will help them.
She wants to know the bank, or she would have to call you, or
she can call me. Then I think I can speak with her.
All right,
yes.
okay. So we'll be putting you.
I don't want to mention names, and I'll be serving voice.
We will serve. By all means, you will be served in voice. You will pay for advert. But we're talking about bad culture before we wrap up. Bad culture here. What are the things that constitute our bad culture?
Yes. So here, when you finish senior high school, you are still considered a child.
Ish.
Your mother will be feeding, your father will be feeding you. Sometimes as a young girl, you can be on your bed at 8:30, 9 o'clock. Your mother will be in the kitchen cooking food for you because you have just finished SS. You are a queen. So you don't do so much work at home, you know. That's one of the ways we help people to become lazy. So people still have that mentality that they are young, they need to depend on someone, and it has to take time before they settle down.
I see.
And start earning money.
Ro is calling us from East Legon. Ro, good morning.
Top of to Mr. Lu.
Good morning. Top of the morning to you as well.
My to your guest, and this is a very program. In the question.
If you can reposition yourself, Mr. Ro, and I'll be glad.
My contribution is this is agent's account, account.
It's breaking bad. It's breaking bad. Let's try one more time. Please call us back. Call us back. Yes, you were talking about boys and girls sleeping at 8, they're feeding them.
Yes.
And they have girlfriends and boyfriends.
Of course.
Those people.
Of course.
After senior high
Of
school.
course, yes. And some of those young people too, they are given money by their parents.
Yes.
Money for which they are not, they are not even responsible. They don't account for how they spend the money. So that's a bad way of training children. Number one, you give them money, they don't account for how they spend the money.
Nice.
You don't get them to work. I'm becoming very, very uncomfortable with people finishing senior high school and rushing to university. Because I am thinking that if you finish senior high school, you should work for some years before you go to the university. Because I've worked with a lot of young people, and it's so much disheartening to see even someone from the university, 4 years university, and simple things in the office. It becomes a problem. They cannot do it. So if you can't do those simple tasks in your office, how can you take on 3 jobs to do?
Joyce is back on the line, I guess, or the new Joyce. Joyce, can you hear me?
Yes, please. I can hear you. Thank you very much for the response. It's wonderful. But I had a second question. Go ahead. I wanted to find out from brother, if, for instance, you have a job with maybe a big title but paying small, and you have another offer, maybe that offer is not as big, the title is not as big as where you are now. Would he advise that maybe you abandon the one with the big title with less pay and go for the one with maybe a lesser or a lower position, but with a big pay, in order to help you save. Thank you. That was my second question. I'm sorry I didn't ask it.
Okay,
earlier.
that's fine.
Sorry.
Okay. I would have asked Joyce which one she wants to take. As for me, in my house, we'll go for the one that has no... If the title, we go chop. But I mean, do you have an answer?
Yes. When it comes to work, the most important thing about work is not how much you earn.
Okay.
Yes. The most important thing about work is the skills you acquire on the job.
Okay.
I can be doing a work now that what they are paying me is a peanut, but I'm giving myself time and I'm building capacity. If I move from here to the next place, I can get about 5 times what I was earning before. Okay. I always advise people that before you resign from any company, make sure you have an idea about whatever happens in every department of that company.
Mm-hmm. Idea as in gaining skills?
Yes.
Okay.
How can you be working in a company, you don't know what happens in finance department, you don't know what happens in market, you don't know what happens in HR, and you've been there for 10 years. Eesh. So the only thing you know is just your knowledge from your department. Oh, no. You can't do that. So when you leave that company, you go to another place, you can't be earning much. Earning much has to do with skills, expertise, and knowledge. So before you make a step from one place to the other, it shouldn't just be financial. You ask yourself, what do I have now that is a competitive advantage? That when I go to the next company, they will say you were earning 20,000, we are going to give you 50,000 because of what you are bringing on board. Those are the considerations to be made. Yes. So that is my advice. Title, like you said, you can't eat title. So if you have acquired enough experience, skills and all that, if you get better offers, why not?
But better offer does not come. So for instance, maybe you were an HR somewhere and you were paid less, head of HR. But this time you are going to be part of the HR unit, but not the head of HR, but you are earning more. You're supposed to earn more. She says, which one should I choose?
Oh, if you have enough experience in HR, which is your specialized field, and at that point in your life, I believe that you need more money. So you go for more money.
Okay.
It's like Ronaldo going to Saudi Arabia. At that level, he's not going to show anybody what he can do. At that level, he just want to get some more money, invest in more business. He's gotten the awards, the skills, and everything already.
That's smart.
Yes.
That's smart. Let's go back to the issue of accounting, because I'm excited about that, because some of us lost it. We're not able to account for the monies we're giving. Here we are today. So talk to me about the bad culture while we wrap up.
Yes. So the bad culture, I've spoken about the attitude of young people in particular, by even with the parent not engaging these people and introducing them to work early. That's the first thing. Maybe another thing I also want to talk about is from the side of the church. Are we very, very happy if the future of the church can focus more on helping people to be productive within the church setting? So you can do that by organizing regular workshops on business, career, and entrepreneurship, and also financial, personal finance. These are things that should be done in the church as well. We have moved beyond the stage of just having revival programs, Holy Ghost, blah, 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 just throughout the whole year. I mean, people should be taught to manage their money well, because when you pay your tithe, that is not just the end. So the church also should have a role to play in terms of people's career development. Then our system generally, there's a lot that government also needs to do. Yes. You know, some of the policies that come here, and then one government comes, they bring a policy, another government comes, they change it and all that. And sometimes it can affect what you do and even the kind of business that you run. So you have to look at your government, you look at the economic environment, you look at the policies that the different governments are bringing. Then you can create business opportunities out of it. You know, Donald Trump, with the tariffs he's placing on various countries, including Mexico, Mexico and India, Canada, and all those people. But I was reading something on Instagram, and the person was saying that what the guy is doing can actually create millionaires in America. But you have to understand the economic environment and how to position yourself.
Indeed, very, very, very key. And of course, God said you should occupy till I come. So it's not about staying and just praying all the time. No, that would be very bad. The other issue for me had to do with in the skills, acquiring the skills for the jobs that creates more accounts for which emergency account comes in. people also have excuses. They have children, they come back from work and they're tired, they don't have time and all of that. Are these just excuses or these are realities on the ground?
These are realities because in an attempt to make more money, if you don't take care, you also die in the process. You end up acquiring all kinds of diseases that will take you a lifetime to treat because you want to earn more money. And some people go to the extreme of also abandoning their family. So you leave home early, the children will not see you. By the time you come back, the children are asleep. I don't advocate for those kind of. The Bible says that a false balance is an abomination unto the Lord. So a lot of things should be taken into consideration. Some people even abandon their families and they go outside for many years, wife and children are here and all that. Things should be done properly. That's what the Bible encourages us to do. So you should balance it. Yes, though you need extra, you need more income, you should be able to balance that well with your family life and even with your spiritual life. In an attempt to make more money and get more jobs, people don't go for church service again.
Okay.
This Sunday, they are very, very busy. If you ask them, they said they are looking for money. Unfortunately, they don't also get the money anyway. So let there be a balance. I mean, it's God who blesses. Yes, just do your audit well and you know where and where to pinch your tent.
So we've spoken about emergency accounts largely. We've also spoken about how to open those accounts and all of that. Finally, before we get into your final words, what will be or it depends on you, what will be the emergency, or if there's para, that is where you go and take the money from there to go and buy? Is it sickness? What constitutes emergency?
Emergency.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you take it on a national level, maybe probably in our country that's not so common, but I've just cited an example of a kind of a budget support amount that comes to Ghana that is no longer coming, and the Ghana has to go out and look for money somewhere to do it. As on the individual level, an emergency can be an illness in a part of the world. An emergency can even be, hospitalized, a member of the family being hospitalized, who is very close to you. That can be an emergency. You know the kind of family system that we have here. You have to support this, you have to support that. So now the emergency is not just your family, it also extends to outside people. Emergency could also be you losing your job. With the kind of system we run here, you can lose your job at any time.
Text message, you are gone.
You are gone, A
flash crying, you are gone. They will flash you and they are gone.
So the emergencies are they are all over around us. So you need to be able to operate with this in mind, not having that idea of entitlement, thinking that I am earning so much in cedis or in dollars, so things will always remain like this. So I don't need to put anything in place. No, the emergencies will always, and the emergencies also differ. Your emergency may not be a problem for someone. Right. So look at your situation, look at your emergency, and make plan for it, so that when the things hit, you are not moved. You can recover quickly.
I see. Very much. Loans emergency things, like going for loans?
These days, the banks have good offers for people who want to meet emergency needs, like school fees, even marriage. You can go for some loans and things for that. Once in a while, you can fall on them. The problem is when they become a daily or regular or recurrent lifestyle, that you have to marry, you have to go for loans. Rent, you have to go for loans. Children's school fees, you have to go for loans. Your wife has been admitted at the hospital about to give birth, she needs blood. You have to rush for loans. That's where the problem is. As much as possible, you should cut off loans from your life. They are not good. Even if they are offering them, they are chasing you and calling you to come for it. Sometimes you have to beg them and tell them, I'm sorry, I don't need this money now. I want to live a very peaceful life. That's very, very important. Yes.
Absolutely, because I asked that question because loans have become emergencies. So 24 hours, you can call us. You want school fees, call us for loan and all of that. Well, that's what he does. He's called to do this, Kingdom Finance Evangelist. That's who he is, Mr. Semanu Boandoh-Korkor. Thank you very much as well. Want to put your number out there?
Yes. Viewers can always reach out to me. My number is 0549 762233. 0549 762233. You can always reach out to me anytime.
Absolutely.
WhatsApp. Yeah.
Indeed. Thank you very much. And that has been the Kingdom Financial series. We're talking about emergency account. Up next is a conversation on youth employment or unemployment. What is Africa doing? What is Ghana doing? Who is showing leadership? how must it be done to create more dignifying jobs for our young people? Stay with us.